Rothwell's not quite as dynamic in my opinion. He's big, tall dude. He's not slow, especially for his size, but he's not the fastest guy in there. But he's he's not uncatchable. We'll just leave it at that.
What is going on, fight fans? Today is a special one. This is Combat Loop. We have an 8-time UFC fighter. Now he's in BKFC. This guy's making a name for himself. Parker Porter, what is going on, dude? How you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. Everything is great. You know, life is moving in an awesome direction. I couldn't be happier with the way everything's going. We got good stuff going on at the gym, good stuff going on with the BKFC. Family's great. Life is peachy.
Yeah, dude. Hey, listen, it's always a privilege to talk with someone, that's a fighter. We love talking to fighters. It's awesome to talk to fighters, but with someone's so much experience, dude. You fought John Jones when you're 20, in the early 20s. You've gone now, you're 40 years old. So that's 20 years in the fight game, brother. Like, that's a long time to go. And to be able to get that much knowledge, you have your gym helping others. That's what really fighting is about, is helping each other and helping other people out. I talk to people all the time that have gyms. You don't make any money, dude. They're there to help people. So we always appreciate you. We always give you love. We'll give you a spot to shout out that gym because we know that's really important. But really, I want to get into it. And how did you start fighting, dude? You started at a young age, and I want to get how you got into the fight game.
Oh, I never did any martial arts growing up. I played football, baseball, lacrosse, a little bit of deck hockey. I was an athletic kid. I always played sports, and they were usually gravitated more towards the physical ones. But I graduated from high school, didn't take my grades very seriously, so I lost any chances of getting a scholarship to play football. And then I got into the gym and started working with a personal trainer, learning how to eat right to actually be healthy, not just be a 340-pound lineman that can move as quick as possible. And then I got in the best shape I'd ever been in. And I was like, well, what do I do with it? Because I'd always worked out to get better at whatever sport I was playing. Then I kind of fell into mixed martial arts training, thinking like, all right, I'll just use it to change up my workouts, learn a little bit of self-defense. And then about 9-10 months into it, my coach at the time was like, hey, you're pretty good at this. You want to give it a try? And I was 20, 21 at the time. Of course, like, yeah, absolutely. Let's do it. Let's go wild. And I won my first fight by knockout in the 3rd round. And the rest is history from there, man. I fell in love with it immediately and made it my life mission to get to the UFC.
And your life mission was accomplished, right? So you get to the UFC and you get fights in the UFC, and now you're in BKFC. Now tell me, like, how you've evolved though through all these years. Like, you've evolved into that, and tell me what you have evolved into now.
Yeah, I've evolved into the guy you see before you, in a nutshell, to keep it simple. I learned a lot. They did a lot of maturing over the years. Developed a significant amount of self-discipline through martial arts training, because I've always considered myself a martial artist first and a prize fighter second. This is the prize fighting, as much as I love it because you get to test your skills, it's more of an occupation than a lifestyle. So it's helped me become a better dad. And then in reverse, the being a dad has helped me become a better coach at the gym. I just wanted to be able to share this with people, help people accomplish their goals, whether that's, they just want to learn some self-defense, they want to get in better shape, or they have competitive aspirations. I found that this is for everybody. Training is for everybody. Competing isn't necessarily for everyone, but training is for everybody. And it's made me realize and connect with people and learn how to apply it in so many different aspects of life. Like, we work with a couple of guys in law enforcement. We work with security, just confidence boosters. We just recently started kids classes here at the gym, at Heavy Hitters. It's turned me into somebody that's more patient, more driven, goal-oriented, if you will. And I don't know, it's just made me overall a better person.
100%, dude. I think kids make you a better person. I wasn't as good of a person as I was until my son really came along, and it made me be like, hey, dude, you can't mess around. You got to make sure you're always doing the right things at the right time. And being a coach, then you're even got more spotlights. So you have so many spotlights on you. I think that will evolve you extremely, extremely quickly. Now tell me, with all this experience, what's made you dive into the BKFC? Like, Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship is a great organization. I've been privileged to be around it, hanging out with Dave, Little Surge. Like, there are some really, really good guys. I just did Ice Wars. I understand being a fighter, like seeing it, because it makes me want to jump into it. What's grabbed your attention so far?
Uh, I mean, I just love it, man. I love combat sports. I love testing myself. As much as everybody says, like, oh, this guy versus that guy. For me, it's always me versus me. Like how much better can I push myself? How much, can I prepare myself? The thing that grabs my attention the most about the BKFC though is like it's just so action packed, man. Everything, nothing disappoints. It's full adrenaline right out the gate. The fights are, 9 out of 10 fights are finishes, and there's no question about whatsoever. Fight's over.
Yeah, dude, it's definitely something else. Like, it's hard for me to watch UFC. It's hard for me to watch a BKFC then go into UFC. I can watch a UFC then go into BKFC as it's a lot of action, but man, I'm
Yeah.
telling you, it's like I love it now. I want to be able to go to it. I had the opportunity to go to 320 or go to Jersey. I picked Jersey, dude. So like Jersey was it was an experience, man. I'm telling you. Tell me about your first event that you went into for the BKFC. I know you had a couple now, but tell me about
Yeah.
your first event, man. Like, how was that? Tell me how like the whole experience was.
It was awesome. I mean, like I like coming from the UFC, I obviously have like, a certain set of like expectations in terms of like production, and they did not disappoint. They did a really good job. They were like I was obviously nervous about, going taking the gloves off for the first time and like how's this gonna feel, what's gonna happen, and how am I gonna feel when I get touched and whatnot. And yeah, everything just felt kind of natural and fell right into place. I'd always felt like I'd had to kind of tailor my natural instincts and kind of like dumb them down a little bit in terms of like the head movement and natural boxing part of things for MMA, because you move your head around that dramatically and you get that wild with your movement in MMA, and you're getting taken down or you're getting kicked in the head or kneed in the face or whatever it may be. So first time out there, I was like, oh, I feel like I could just be so much more me. Like this is
Yeah.
this is the fit. Like the this is the goal I've been searching for, essentially. I thought it was the UFC and I thought it was MMA, and that's what got me to this point. So it's not like it was a waste of time by any means. But it's all led me to this point, and now I'm just in love with the bare knuckle boxing sport, the BKFC especially.
Yeah, dude. The toughness in it is the thing that sticks out to me a lot in the BKFC. You got to be real tough to go inside there to actually fight to do it. It's a wild thing. Now you're ranked number 5, man, and there's a path kind of carved out towards going to Ben Rothwell, going up towards that way. Is that someone that you're looking to fight? Is there someone in there? I know that you're looking that way. Are you looking to get that title? Is more of what I'm looking for. Is that always the ultimate goal for you?
Yes, absolutely. At this point, like when I got to the UFC, it was, it was like the whole goal for so long was get to the UFC. I never really got past that point, in terms of like, oh, I'm going to be a champion or I'm going to be ranked or anything like that. And now, yeah, I'm like, not, it made me realize I'm like, no, dude, like you got to have like the plan. You got to really reach for the very top of the mountain. Don't just be like, oh, I'm going to get like halfway up, the mountain, and then be like, all right, this was the goal. Like, no, that was the prerequisite goal to get to the top. Like the goal, you break it down into smaller steps. But absolutely, the goal is to take that belt home, whether that's with Ben or it changes to somebody else by the time I get to it. I want that strap coming back with me to Connecticut.
Yeah, there's some nasty boys up in that heavyweight, and you're all
There are.
really, really good. I talked to Anthony, and there's a couple of the other ones in that top. I'm like, I don't I'm like 6 foot, dude, and I'll come walking up next to you guys. I'm like, what the hell would I
Yeah.
even do to you guys? I'm gonna try to just wrestle, and then I'm
Well,
like, oh, I forget, you're an MMA guy, so that's gonna be rough for me because you can wrestle too, huh? Now
yeah.
I'm gonna talk about like heavy hitters, dude, because I know that that's near and dear to your heart, and I
Yeah.
know doing heavy hitters. Tell me about how that's made you evolve into as a fighter. Does it make you slow down to when you're working with people, slow things down and get more technical? Does it help you mentally? I mean, there's got to be things that it helps you with as a fighter to do.
Every single one of those ways. It obviously helps with patience when you're having somebody struggle with, it can be frustrating trying to explain the technique for them to get it. But also just being able to break things down into such a deeper understanding of how it works in order to be able to explain how to do it to somebody who doesn't know what the hell they're doing, or it doesn't
Yeah.
come naturally to them. That's made me a better fighter because it's forced me to really kind of like turn the lens around and analyze what I'm doing and how it feels when I do it in order to be able to explain it. And it's helped me pick up and change some of the finer details of how I move as well, because I'm for the first time looking at myself more analytically, in terms of lead by example. Like if you can't do it right, if you're not doing it the way that you're explaining to do it, then how do you expect these people to trust you and take your word for, this is the way it should be done?
Yeah, 100%. It always is when you can step in and slow things down. It's like when I tell you, like when I spar with anybody, you stop and you slow things down. When you're fighting me, you're not going to kill me. So you're slowing things down. You're kind of picking different things up.
Yeah.
And helping kids, you're actually trying to help them formulate something. So it's a lot easier. Tell me like a normal training camp for you. I know training camp for the UFC was like, it's probably pretty strenuous. This one's
Yeah.
probably a little easier, but you got to be a little bit more careful. You don't want the cut. So you have to train a little bit more. I guess it's more boxing focus with mitts, but you also have to harden your hands up. I kind of want to know the difference because I know each side for like I kind of know the boxer side, but you're a full like MMA vet coming into it. I want to know what you're doing comparative.
So like compared to, prepping for a UFC fight, there's obviously significantly less elements that I need to worry about in terms of like I don't need to worry about scheduling a jujitsu session or a wrestling session or a kickboxing Muay Thai session. I don't have to worry about defending knees, elbows, takedowns, things like that. So in terms of the planning for what happens, it's a lot simpler in that sense, but the intensity is still there. It's also a lot more independent. Like it's a lot more based on me, and what I could do, because I can go and do my bag work on my own. I can go and do my footwork drills and conditioning and strength and conditioning, and everything outside of sparring and mitt work can be done on my own. So it helps me to hold myself even more accountable, and drive myself more. It's also easier for me to coordinate with such a busy schedule. Like I said, I got the gym. I still work a little bit of construction part time. I have three boys and a wife, and the schedule is pure chaos. I use Google Calendar, and everybody's got their own color coded calendar. If I popped it up for you, it looks like terrible. It's just every color of the rainbow on my freaking calendar, and everything's full. So it makes it easier in the sense I can pop in a session here, or pop in a session there. I don't have to coordinate with so many people of so many different skill levels or body size and types. But yeah, the intensity is still the same. And that's really the only difference for me, being in camp versus out of camp. Sorry, I got somebody coming by in the hallway.
No, you're good.
Drowning you out or me out. But the it just it's the same kind of intensity. Outside of camp is the relatively the same schedule, but I'll be a little more relaxed with like, all right, I got this going on, or I'm tired, I'm going to skip this session, or I'll make it up there. Once you're in camp, once the contract gets signed, none of those sessions get missed, and the intensity just goes up a lot more.
Yeah, you gotta
And
start being a killer.
in terms of sparring, we do a lot of same boxing, but we usually do it with a little MMA gloves. And then of course, with the BKFC rule set, you could dirty box. So the clinch is there. That adds an element that I think that gives me an advantage coming from such a predominant MMA background where it's like home to me. And then in terms of the hand hardening, that was the biggest concern that my wife had when we first signed up for this. I thought she was going to be more upset that like my face would get all scarred up and bloody. And she's like, "Nah, I don't give a shit about that. I'm worried you're going to break your hand and you can't like work or anything, or you're going to have trouble working." And my mentality behind it is like, I've been doing this for a very long time, and I've never broken my hand, in with a glove on. And even though there's different elements to not having a glove on, you don't have quite the same amount of support and padding and protection. You're still getting that impact over and over and over and over.
Yeah.
So like there was a more got to the point of like conditioning. I still do hand conditioning now to really actually like take it up. I've got one of those, it's like I forget the name of it. It's a canvas bag filled with sand and rice, and I'm just like pounded away on it. Nothing super intense. I'm not hitting it full force, but same kind of concept you would take for shin conditioning for Muay Thai and MMA. Just over and over and over. You want to be just kind of, you know, whacking away at it, making those micro fractures, increasing the bone density over time, drinking
Yeah.
your dairy.
We had a coach that used to roll bottles down legs. So he rolled bottles. Dude, he would try to kill people with those bottles. It was crazy. He would take like the old Coke bottles and just roll them down your legs. And yeah, oh yeah, dude, yeah. You already know. You already know. Yeah, it's rough.
Stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me what the biggest adjustment's been so far in going to the BKFC, the bare knuckle fighting, dude. I just want to know the biggest thing that you probably had to adjust to.
The biggest adjustment has been not picking my leg up to throw a kick when I'm chasing somebody down in sparring practice or pad work.
I'm a kicker. I understand.
I haven't gotten there's not a ton of highlights out there with me throwing big kicks, but people don't realize that, even being a big guy, I can swing my leg up and up nice and high and still catch the other guys that are 6'2" and 6'3" right across the head with my shin. And that was always something that I would, or just chop the leg when you're running somebody down and cutting an angle. So that was the biggest thing for me to kind of adjust to, was like, keep your feet on the ground, dude.
Yeah, I bet so.
Don't throw knees in the clinch.
Yeah, that's a hard one. But you also have you have the clinch, dude. So you have something that's I tell people it's a secret weapon inside the BKFC, because if you can grab onto them and you can use your uppercut inside that, it really is a changer.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people get really messed up. Now I want to know
that's how I won my last fight. I caught him wrapped up right in that clinch. Two uppercuts right up the middle, and it was game over.
It's secret weapon stuff, man. Some people don't use it. Some people push away. I think the technical boxing plus a really kind of dirty boxing, you can be really dangerous. Now, I want to know something with all the years of experience. Give me one fighter that you could take past or in current that you would fight and that you would want to fight. Anybody.
Somebody that I've already
Anybody.
Fought. Anybody. Doesn't have to be somebody that I fought.
Boxing, MMA, it could be UFC, Bellator, it could be PFL. I don't care who it is. Is there someone that you want? Because that's a long time for you to be fighting. I don't want to know if there was someone, because for me, mine's always kind of been Mike Tyson. I would love to be prime Mike Tyson just to see the power. I mean, of course, I'm going to get my jaw broken. I'm going to be laying on the ground.
Yeah.
But to be in that, or be with a Cassius Clay, there's certain people that I always kind of idolize as that. Or a Bruce Lee, because the legs and the kicks are there's some guys inside this world, but you being a fighter for so many years and seeing so many fighters, there's someone like John Jones. You fought him when you were young. Now what you can do now. I think you would be like, hey, bro, I could get that, and I could beat this dude. I think there's people I don't know. I just think about that for a minute. How many years you've been in it?
If there was somebody that going kind of along the same mindset of I just want to see how it would go and see what it would be like, I'd probably have to pick Randy Couture.
Ooh, yeah. He got the wrestling plus the dude.
Yeah,
that wrestling
he's got some sharp boxing. He doesn't, you never really saw a ton of kicks out of him or anything, but he has that kind of classic boxing wrestling, and his Greco is so freaking sick that I would love to just be like, hey, let me just see where I stack up against this. Win, lose, or draw.
His dirty boxing was nasty too, man.
Right.
People don't know.
And that's something that I myself am really a fan of. I always kind of looked up to him coming up in the sport. I always respected him for his accomplishments with the number of championships that he's won, but also just being such a relatively calm, cool, and collected guy, not getting really too sucked into the trash talking and all the hype and bullshit. It was all right, I'm just actions speak louder than words, and tomorrow night I will let my actions speak.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite. He's actually one of my favorites because he went up and down weights. Just to be able to do it, it wasn't afraid of a challenge. I really, really liked. He's an old school UFC guy. I had so much respect for him, and I think he would do well today in today's society with the wrestling base, and he could strike with you a little bit. I think he would do really well. He would have to go down weight. I don't think with these heavyweights that you have now, they're just way too big. So it would be a tough one. I know we got a fight coming probably pretty soon. I know you've been talking about it's coming. We can't really talk about that. But for people that don't remember, I can't remember how your last fight. Tell us what we got coming for us to the next fight you have.
Oh, same as 1 and 2, man. We're not expecting it to get out of the first round. I got a tough opponent. You know, he's got a good chin on him, so it's going to be a real challenge and test of my power and abilities. But I'm going to do like I always do, and I'm going to push that pace and find my angle, whether it's going to be staying on the outside and you know, picking and pot shotting, or I'm going to be coming in for that clinch and getting my work in on the inside with the dirty boxing. But don't expect it to go past the first or the second round. Maybe the second, because maybe to the second, because this dude's got a chin on him. I respect it. But you know, it's gonna be another finish. You know, like most of the fights in the BKFC. It's we're here to leave no doubt.
Yeah. Have you ever think about fighting a guy like Perdomo? What do you think you would do against Perdomo?
I think he'd be tough, man. He's super dynamic. He's super sharp. He's just he would be a great fight. He really
Oh
would.
yeah.
You know, and I don't mean that with any disrespect. I just feel like our styles would really match up well together. He's super aggressive and powerful. I'm really powerful and tough. You know, like, and we both just push a pace. Nobody's really ever been able to see what his gas tank is actually like, because you know he's never been out of the first round. I think, what is he? He threw like fucking 15 shots in his first 3 or 4 fights total. You know,
It's not been very much.
no, yeah. So I think I would present a good challenge for him and vice versa. And I think it would be an entertaining fight to see.
Someone
Um,
like Perdomo. What about someone like Rothwell? You think the same way?
no, a different approach. Different approach. Rothwell's not quite as dynamic, in my opinion. He's big, tall dude. He's not slow, especially for his size, but he's not the fastest guy in there. Um, but you know, he's not uncatchable. We'll just leave it at that.
I think that you guys would be a little bit of a scrap. You could come out on top of that one. I think
Yeah,
he's a very good fighter. I just think he's a little bit more hittable than Perdomo. I think
yeah.
Perdomo
I think
can really
Perdomo would be
put you to
harder to
sleep
catch.
very, very quick.
I think
I think
Perdomo would be harder
all
to
you
catch.
guys can do the same. You all
Yeah,
can do the same thing. But Perdomo, dude, I think he has a touch of depth, and you have to be a little bit more technical with him. I think if you get outside and you
yeah,
get brawler like with Perdomo, you're going to find yourself asleep. And I think that you don't want to brawl with him. I think if you can use a jab and keep him distance and put him into the second round where he's a little bit more tired, you have a shot. You have an avenue to beat him. I think there's a lot of different avenues with Ben. So it just depends. I mean,
yeah.
everybody MMA math doesn't work, dude. Ben
No,
Rothwell's a champion for that reason. They're all where they're at for a whole reason. So like, I don't try to play MMA math. I just see different avenues for different fighters because I get to watch them fight.
and MMA
Um,
math doesn't ever work consistently either, though. You know, like you could have one certain formula for that, and it's like it works 2 or 3 times, and then all of a sudden it never works again because it's
yep.
just completely like there's no, it doesn't follow the same rules and laws that the rest of the math does.
I've understood that from being around fighting for 25 years, that I would say, hey, this works for this, and then they go
Yeah,
against each other and it goes the exact opposite way. Well, dude,
right.
hey, my favorite time for you is the sponsor time, dude. You can say sponsors, wives, kids, you can say whoever you want to, but the people that have got you where you got to in your life, we always like to give back to them.
Yes, absolutely. You know, biggest and most important sponsors is of course my wife and my kids. You know, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be doing this kind of stuff. And I do it for them to help make things better for them, to lead by example and show my sons what it's like to go after something and accomplish your goals and endure everything that life can throw at you and still come out on top. And of course, the support from my wife, you know, holding everything down and being understanding of me, you know, being away from home for whatever reason it may be, whether it's for training or I got to travel for the gym or for the BKFC or whatever it may be. She holds everything down for me and backs me up 1,000%. And then in terms of actual sponsor, oh, I'm sorry, extended family as well would be, of course, my boxing coach, Ed Thornton, who's previously my Muay Thai coach, but now he's my boxing coach. And then, of course, my longtime training partner and go-to corner man, Dan Frazick. Um, you know, those guys have been with me through, you know, Dan's been with me for 15, 16 years for most of my fights before I got to the UFC, and then with every fight through the UFC. And Ed's been with me for every fight from the UFC on. So those guys have my back 1,000% and want to see my success just as bad as I want it, sometimes more. In terms of the actual sponsors, though, we really just got the one sponsor right now. We got Fight Down Promotions. I appreciate everything you guys are doing for me out there, helping me expand my reach a little bit and get things done. And then, of course, everybody at the gym that I own, Heavy Hitters Club in New Britain, Connecticut. All my members here supporting me, coming to class, learning, having fun, making me really like giving me a lot of fulfillment and feeling very rewarded and being able to share the knowledge that I've accumulated over these years with them and help and show them a much clearer, quicker path to accomplish their own goals.
Awesome, man. Hey, I think if you were in the UFC today, just to let you know, I think you would win and you could be in the top 10 pretty easily. I think in the top 5, to be 100% honest with you. So listen, I think you had a great time in the UFC. You were a great fighter for the UFC. That was it was a weird dispatch from them. They do weird things with fighters.
Yeah.
So I didn't like the way that you left the UFC, but I like the way that you were in the UFC and the way that you fought inside of it. And I still think you would be a viable threat inside of it. So as a mixed martial artist fan, I respect you. And it was, you had a great career in MMA, and now being in the bare knuckle fighting championship, I'm super excited to meet you. I'll try to come out in December 20th and do media for that day. But again,
Awesome.
I think you'd probably be in the top 5 for me in the UFC. You could get in that top 5 pretty easily, man.
I think so. I think I could now too. I don't like the way things went. Things are a little bit different in my own camp and whatnot. We've made some changes. So, I think things would be a little bit different this time. I have a substantially clearer vision and structure to the way things are supposed to be.
Yeah. Well, now it's the fans' favorite part, not always my favorite part because I get my ass whooped all the time. But we're going to do the contender versus pretender. And in this one, it would be me being the pretender and me trying to come to that contender spot. Would you like to give it a spar sometime to see what I got against you?
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Well, man, hey, I think I get my ass kicked a little too much by you.
Nah, we'll have fun. I'm harmless.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're harmless. How much do you weigh right now?
I'm about 255.
That's not harmless. That's like a gorilla coming at you, man. I don't know about that. Well, man, it's been nothing but an honor to meet you, an honor to talk with you. When you get a fight actually announced, we can talk about that when you get in towards the fight. I know that
December 20th at Mohegan Sun. That's about all I can tell you right now.
A little bit there. We like that. Well, maybe when we get closer, we'll have a little interview, talk, and I'll get out to the Mohegan. I think I'm planning to come December 20th. So that's my plan as it lays right now, to be at the December 5th card. If you can get down to December 5th, I'll be there, and then December 20th as well. So,
Perfect, man.
God bless you, dude. It's very nice to meet you, and I hope nothing well, but with your family, I hope you guys have a great time, and good luck with the kids, dude. Being a son, dad's son is too much, dude. My son's crazy.
It's tough. Yeah. But it's worth every minute.
Every minute of it. It's made me the best man I could ever be, and it makes me want to be better. So I appreciate 100%. Your time, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
God bless.